You've probably experienced something similar to this in your life. You're playing video games or scrolling social media, doing something stimulating, and you think, man, I gotta get that studying done, or I gotta get this work done. Whatever it is, something that takes focus. So you close your phone, you get onto it, and you just can't seem to focus. Every time you try to do the work, your brain wanders, or you're not able to concentrate on a math problem. You just keep going over it and over it and over it in your head, and it's just not working. Your brain's not doing what it needs to do. And that's because your brain's in a state that isn't conducive to focus. Your brain's in the state to play video games or scroll social media, do whatever stimulating activity you were doing, and focus just isn't going to happen when you're in this state. So I'm going to teach you how to develop your own protocol to set your mind into the state where it can focus 100% and not get distracted. And I've got a few different habits that you can add to a protocol. I'll show you what my protocol is, and I'll explain why these tactics are helpful. So what you're trying to get into is into a deep focus state, where you can do this deep work, where you can focus 100% and get 10 times as much work done as you usually would in the same time frame. I like to set up work blocks, hour and a half each. You can see on my schedule here. Wake up, I do my morning routine, half an hour of work, 30-minute break to get sunlight, meditate, another block of work, eat breakfast, another block of work. So you can focus for about an hour and a half, and then your mind just starts to wander more and more, and it becomes harder and harder to bring it back to focus. Just take a quick break, do something not overly stimulating. I'll get into that more, but you don't want to spend this break scrolling TikTok or anything. Then we come right back to it. You can repeat some of the habits, like breath work. That's a quick way to get your mind into the focus state. And implementing this deep work or deep focus is going to 10 times your productivity in life. And when you get into this flow state, you can 100 times your productivity. What flow state is when your brain is 100% focused on something. There are no outside thoughts coming in, no distractions. You don't even realize you're working. Your brain's just doing the work automatically. This is like if you're in an MMA fight. You're not going to be thinking about anything else at all, because you're trying not to get knocked out or killed, and you're trying to do the same to the other person. So it's extremely challenging. It's something that you're experienced with. The first time you're training, you're going to be overthinking everything, and you're going to be thinking about a lot of different things. But as you get into it, you get this certain level of competence where it's not overly challenging and you're not brand new to it, but it's not easy. It's challenging enough that it requires all of your focus. So you want to find this sweet spot. This can be with hobbies like physical activities, sports, or with work like the work I'm doing. I try to get into the flow state while I'm scripting and recording these videos. And you can probably find something in your line of work or hobbies that is conducive to this. Anyway, I'm Matt Bell. I like to live a physically, mentally, and spiritually healthy lifestyle, and my goal with these videos is to help you all do the same and to make progress towards your goals and aspirations. So if there's anything you're struggling with, any goals you've got, let me know in the comments and I'll make you a video to help you out. I do all of my YouTube work on the weekend because I'm working Monday to Friday, and I always do it first thing in the morning. I do my quick morning routine, I have a cold shower and journal and whatnot, and then I get right to it because my mind's fresh. This is when you've got the most mental and physical energy. This is when you can focus the best, and your mind state hasn't been altered by the other activities that you do throughout the day. So it's important to do it first thing if possible. Some people like to do it later in the night. If that's what you've got to do, that's fine. But it is probably going to keep you up later because you're stimulating your brain more rather than doing something relaxing like reading. and it's going to affect your sleep. You're going to have to sleep longer to get the same quality of sleep and feel rejuvenated in the morning. And if you're not feeling rejuvenated in the morning, for the next day, that's just going to affect your deep work block. So I recommend doing it in the morning if possible. It's important to be fasted if possible, at least for as long as possible beforehand. Like I said, I do it in the morning, so it's easy to do it fasted. I've been fasting all night. And especially carbs will affect your ability to focus and your mental capacity. Some people are more sensitive to carbs than others. I'm very sensitive. When I'm fasted and I have a carb-heavy meal, I notice it within 5 minutes. Like I'm having a conversation while I'm eating, and I just feel my brain slowing down by like 100%. I get twice as slow. So try this out if you're usually doing your work after eating. Try it fasted, and I'm pretty sure you'll notice a difference. A tidy environment is extremely important. You've probably heard people say like a messy office is a messy mind. And that's very true. I definitely noticed that. You probably will too if you've got a messy desk right now and you clean it up. There's a bunch of stuff that you have to do for preparation. This is just one of them. Clean up your office. You don't have garbage laying around. You have more of a minimalist setup, so you have fewer objects to distract you. You're not thinking about stuff that you need to move around. Like I said, you're gonna have a cleaner desk, cleaner mind. And we're doing all this stuff to limit distractions. So don't just leave distractions laying out. Often it's pretty quick to clean up and you get benefits. So that's what we're here to do. Do everything you can to get benefits. So don't skip this one. And finally, you should have some sort of ritual going into it. Some sort of pattern that you repeat every time. Like this protocol, do the same things every time in the same order, and it trains your brain to focus after doing these. The first time you do these habits, you get the benefits, like breath work, you get the mind state change, but as you do it more and more and more, your brain learns that after you do these activities, then it's time to focus. So it's going to become easier and easier to focus. You're going to get higher and higher quality focus. One more point before we get into the actual ritual is you should try to avoid these high dopamine spikes beforehand. That's why it's so powerful to start first thing in the morning, before you've gone on TikTok or played video games or anything else. It's going to capture your mind's attention. When you, let's say, scroll social media, you know, you're getting these sharp peaks of dopamine. Your brain really wants to do those things. That's what the dopamine is. That's the motivation to do it. Then you come to do your work, maybe studying. You're probably not very motivated to do this, so you have a lower level of dopamine. And your brain compares these. It thinks this little bit of dopamine, little bit of motivation to do the hard work versus the high spikes of dopamine from social media. Your brain's not going to let you forget that spike of dopamine, and it's going to keep telling you to go back to that, because clearly that's more effective at causing enjoyment, or dopamine, serotonin, whatever. So that's why I recommend doing it first thing, fasted. Don't do anything beforehand, and this is going to be the most exciting thing you've done all day, and that just makes it 10 times easier. Now I'm going to explain some things that you can add to your protocol. It's ideal to keep it as short as possible while still getting the most benefits you can. Because like I said, your mind's fresh. The more things you do, the less benefit you're getting of that, the freshness. So just do a few simple things. I start with a cold shower. After dream journaling, I do a few things. I dream journal, take my supplements in the morning for my morning routine. That's not terribly important for focus, so I'll just focus on these things. Cold shower. It's gonna really wake you up. If you've never tried it, especially first thing, nothing wakes you up like cold water. So it's gonna put your mind into that sharper state rather than the sleepy state. If you find that you have a hard time waking up, you're tired and groggy for a half an hour to an hour, just have a cold shower for a few seconds, 10 seconds is even enough, and you're instantly awake. You feel great, but it is hard, so practice discipline, gets easier over time. Next is sunlight. I get half an hour of sunlight after my first work block, but I try to get around 5 minutes first thing. This is another thing that's gonna wake you up. It's gonna get blue light into your eyes, tell your brain it's time to wake up, it's daytime, it's time to get stuff done. And it's also gonna make sleep easier later in the night. The earlier you get sunlight, the easier it is for you to get to sleep at night. So cold shower, sunlight, now you're pretty awake. I recommend some breath work. You can do a simple box breathing. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold for the same amount of time. You start with 4 seconds and lengthen that as you get more accustomed to the carbon dioxide in your lungs. So I'll show you an example. We're gonna inhale for 4 seconds, hold, exhale, hold, all for 4 seconds. Just repeat like that over and over again. If you find you're more anxious and jittery, a longer exhale will calm you down. And if you're still really tired, some quicker breaths will wake you up. You can use a cyclical hyperventilation, where you're like breathing in and out quickly and very forcefully. It just depends on your state of mind and what you want. Hydration is important. You can kind of throw this in wherever it fits. I like to drink pretty much right after waking up. You know, I take my supplements, wash it down with some water, of course. I'm getting hydrated there. Or you can wait until you start your work block. You sit down, you've got a water bottle, you start drinking as you're working. Salt is great to add. As many electrolytes as possible. It's hard to get a lot of electrolytes without drinking some sugary sports drink, which obviously I don't recommend. The sugar is just gonna mess up your focus and your brain's capacity to work and process information. But salt is definitely important, and that's not gonna break your fast. So add a little bit of sea salt or whatever kind of salt you like. Start drinking that. You're just gonna increase your brain's processing power. I always like to listen to music while I'm working. I recommend binaural beats. The science seems kind of conflicted. It seems like a sort of pseudoscience. I'm not sure if it works. I love it. It's slightly different frequencies in each ear, and the difference sets a frequency in your brain. Lower frequencies are sort of a more sleepy state. So when you're in your deep sleep, your brain waves are moving at the slowest rate. And imagine you've just gotten out of a cold shower, or you're playing sports, you're in a combat sports match. That's when your brain's going its fastest. And for focus, you want it somewhere in the middle. So just look up focus frequencies. And the biggest benefit is just something to help you focus. Something important to note is if you're in more of this ADHD mode, or that's just more of your personality type, music can kind of capture some of that wandering attention and keep your attention on whatever task you're performing. And if you're in more of a calm, sleepy state, then the music can just overstimulate your brain. So be conscious of what kind of mood you're in and how it affects you. You know, run some tests, see if you perform better with or without music. Like I said, I always use music. I find it helps. It also blocks out any noise distractions. Sometimes there's sirens or cars going by. People like to race around here. So music is great. And similar to that is darkness. If you're working towards the end of the day, a lot of productivity guys, business guys, like to shut the blinds, turn the lights off, and have their screen, their computer monitor, be the only light that they're getting. That just makes it easier for your eyes to focus on it. So hopefully you've got a bunch of stuff set up to help you focus. You can add more stuff or take anything that I've set out. And now it's time to start. So I will, if I'm scripting, I'll start my document. I've got the little indicator to show where I'm at in typing. Just focus on that. Don't look away for up to 30 seconds. And scientifically, that's really gonna start the focus. Bunch of science guys talk about this. I don't know if it works, but I do it and I get right into the focus. And one more optional step is some supplements or drugs you can take. I only take caffeine on the weekends. If I take it after work, then it's way too late, it's gonna mess up my sleep. But on the weekends, I take a caffeine pill first thing in the morning, and that helps me focus. You can take nicotine. I personally don't, but a lot of productivity gurus are getting into this, especially a chewable gum or nicotine pouch that you put in your lip. I've got an addictive personality, so I can't trust myself with this. I don't think it's worth the risk to get addicted to nicotine. But some people see a lot of benefits, a lot of people are talking about it, so that's something you can try. With any kind of stimulant, caffeine or nicotine, you can also take a supplement, L-theanine. It's in a lot of pre-workouts, and it's gonna give you that energy from caffeine, but sort of mellow it out. Steady your hands. If you get jittery or anxious, L-theanine can take that edge off, so you've got a more controlled focus. Throughout the rest of my day, I take 4 servings of creatine. 5 grams is enough to fully saturate your muscle to get the physical gains. But if you take up to 20 grams, you can get more mental benefits. Your brain can still benefit from more creatine on top of that. It's great for focus and memory. I'm trying to get lots of healthy fats and oils, like from seafood. I don't like seafood. You can use a seaweed powder or fish oil, cod liver oil, stuff like that to get the omega-3s and whatnot. That is huge for brain development. It's one of the biggest determiners in diet when it comes to IQ and everything like that in your brain. So remember, for the rest of the day, you gotta take care of your brain if you wanna be able to focus during these periods. Anyway, I hope this really helped you. If you need more help setting up your protocol, or you want someone to keep you on track, make sure you're doing the work, click the link in my bio, check out my coaching. I can give you some one-on-one help. I think you'll benefit from that. But anyway, thanks for watching, and have a good day.